Plus, no, that is not the truth. So the first couple of videos are in C++ where I'm teaching for loop, while loop, because they're pretty much similar in C++ and Java. So I've just taught in C++. If you know Java, you can easily grasp it, right? But when I move to recursion, when I move to arrays, when I move to binary search or any other thing, each of those lectures are recorded with logic and then pseudocode. I do not write code in any language. And after that, in the description, you'll find notes where you'll find C++, Java, JavaScript, Python codes in those notes. So this course is not language dependent. The first couple of videos might be, but the entire course is not. Only the basics like the for loop, while loop, printing stuff is in C++. After that, everything is pseudocode. Yes, pseudocode. I focus on the logic. So please remember this, and the link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. So let's get back to the VS Code and try to set it up. So first I will be setting it up for C++. After that, I will be setting it up for Java and for any other language. If you see these two setups, you will be able to set it up. The first thing that you'll do is you'll just open the VS Code editor, and right after that, you open a folder. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll open C++. So I've opened C++. After that, I go to the extensions and I install C++ extension. So search and you'll find an extension from Microsoft. I've already installed it. So please make sure that you install it. Once you've installed it, go back to this folder and try to create a file. So maybe I'll just create demo.cpp. So that's your file. After that, create another file with input.txt. After that, create one more file with output.txt. Done. Once you created these three files, go to view and go to editor layout and say split left. Once you split it left, you will find demo is on the left as input and output. So just cross it out. So you have input over here and output. So you have input and output on the right. You want to split them across. So go to view again, editor layout, and say split down. Once you split them into down, so you can just drag the output and that should be done. So the input is on the top and the output is over here. Let's take a quick break before we move. So the input is on the top and the output is over here. Let's take a quick break before we move ahead. So nowadays, everyone is focusing on DS Algo, but people are ignoring all the other aspects. Something like projects is going to be of extreme importance when you're going in for placements. So what I'll recommend you is to get a strong portfolio with projects and with DS Algo as well. So what you can do is you can check out Cryo.do's project hub. Over there, they have structured a lot of projects according to domains. Let's say we go to web dev, and you can see a lot of project ideas, and they are given in a structured manner, so you can follow them and build some amazing projects. And you can build a portfolio like Pavitra Sharma. Over here you can see his portfolio. He has built some amazing projects, so you can have a portfolio something like this when you're going in for your placement. So let's talk about Cryo.do as well. So Cryo.do is world's first experiential learning and upskilling platform. Over here you don't typically watch videos, you basically learn by doing. So they offer you programs where you'll be working like a software engineer does at Amazon, Netflix, Google, etc. You'll be building some amazing projects you can see on the screen, and you'll be building under mentors who are working at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Walmart, PayPal. So talking about placement stats, Cryo has already transformed 1,000 plus careers. Cryo graduates from various backgrounds have already been placed in 750 plus companies. So they offer you fellowship program in software development. What you can do is you can book a free trial session and test it out for yourself. And at the same time, make sure that you bookmark the projects hub. I'll be leaving the link in the description, and you'll also also find the free trial session link in the description. Make sure you check them out. Now I'll quickly try to run a code. So what I've done is I've copy pasted a demo code. Now the next step is to run this. But before that, you have to go to terminal, configure tasks. There's something as create task, click it, others. Once you click on others, you see there's a VS Code folder and there's a task. The step is to try to run a code. So what I've done is I've copy pasted a demo code. Now the next step is to run this. But before that, you have to go to terminal, configure tasks. There's something as create task. To go to terminal, configure task. There's something as create task, click it, others. Once you click on others, you see there's a VS Code folder and there's a task.json. Remove this configuration and go to the description. I'll be pasting the configuration. Just paste it, and remember one thing, the compile and run should be together. Save it and close it. And right after that, I'll be save it and close it. And right after that, I'll be pressing command plus shift plus B. But before that, let's give an input 13, command shift and B, and you will see that there's an output. Quite simple, isn't it? So the configuration that you see over here, that's for C++ for MacBook. In the notes, like in the description, I'll be leaving some notes I'll find for Windows as well. In case you have any other operating system, what you need to do is just copy paste the configuration that I've given in the notes, take it to ChatGPT, and whatever is your system, ask ChatGPT, can you give me the equivalent for my system? And he will give you, just copy paste, and it will start working. So this is how you set it up. Remember, the stars.json is under your C and paste Windows in the and B. But before that, let's give an input 13, command shift and B, and you will see that there's an output. Quite simple, isn't it? So the configuration that you see over here, that's for C++ for MacBook. In the notes, like in the description, I'll be leaving some notes I'll find Windows as well. In like an output. Give it together. Save it. Task. Configure tasks. There's something as create task. Click it. Others. Once you click on others, you see there's a VS Code folder and there's a task.json. Remove this configuration and go to the description. I'll be pasting the configuration. Just paste it. And remember one thing, the compile and run should be together. Save it and close it. And write After that, configuration, yes, and according to and output on the left. So that's try to install. You'll find an extension from Microsoft. I've already installed it. And that I open VS Code. These two setups, you will be able to set it up. The first thing that you'll do is you'll just open the VS Code editor, and right after that, you open a folder. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll open C++. I've opened C++. After that, I go to the extensions and I install C++ extension. So search and you'll find an extension from Microsoft. I've already installed it. So please make sure that you install it. Once you've installed it, go back to this folder and try to create a file. So maybe I'll just create demo.cpp. So that's your file. After that, create another file with input.txt. After that, create one more file with output.txt. Done. Once you created these three files, go to view and go to editor layout and say split left. Once you split it left, you will find demo is on the left as input and output. So just cross it out. So you have input over here and output. So you have input and output on the right. You want to split them across. So go to view again, editor layout, and say split down. Once you split them into down, so you can just drag the output and that should be done. So the input is on the top and the output is over here. Let's take a quick break before we move ahead. So nowadays everyone is focusing on DS algo, but people are ignoring all the other aspects. Something like projects is going to be of extreme for structure portfolio. You watch video soft projects, soft career. So they offer yourself and description, and you'll also find. So what I've done is I've copy pasted a demo code. Now the next step is to try to run a code. So what I've done is I've I've copy pasted a demo code. Now, the next step is to run this. But before that, you have to go to terminal, configure tasks. There's something as create task, click it, others. Once you click on others, you see there's a VS Code folder and there's a task.json. Remove this configuration and go to the description. I'll be pasting the configuration. Just paste it. And remember one thing, the compile and run should be together. Save it and close it. And right after that should be together. Save it and close it. And right after that, I'll be pressing command plus shift plus B. But before that, let's give an input 13, command shift and B, and you will see that there's an output. Quite simple, isn't it? So plus shift plus B, but before that, let's give an input 13, command shift and B, and you will see that there's an output. Quite simple, isn't it? So the configuration that you see over here, that's for C++ for MacBook. In the notes, like in the description, I'll be leaving some notes I'll find for Windows as well. In case you have any other operating system, what you need to do is just copy paste the configuration that I've given in the notes, take it to ChatGPT, and whatever is your system, ask ChatGPT, can you give me the equivalent for my system? And he will give you, just copy paste and it will start working. So this is how you set it up. Remember, the stars.json is under your C++ folder. In case you are switching folders, you'll have to again repeat the same thing. Got it? So that was easy for C++, isn't it? Now it's time for Java. It's very much similar. I go to open, I go to desktop, and open one of my folders. You can open from anywhere. The next thing, install an extension, Java extension pack. Yeah, this one. I've already installed it, so I'll not be reinstalling it. Right after this was What's the next job? Just add a Java file. Probably I can give demo.java. After that, add an input.txt which takes your input. Add an output.txt which takes your output. Go to view. You from unsecure. Just copy paste the configuration that I've given in the notes. What in some notes, command it and close it. And right after that, I'll be pressing command plus shift plus B. But before that, let's give an input 38. Command shift and B, and you will see that there's an output. Quite simple, isn't it? So the configuration that you see here, that's for C++ for MacBook. In the notes, like in the description, I'll be leaving some notes so you'll find for Windows. As in case you have any other operating system, what you need to do is just copy paste the configuration that I've given in the notes, take it to ChatGPT, and whatever is your system, ask ChatGPT, can you give me the equivalent for my system? And you just copy paste and it will start working. So this is how you set it up. Remember, the stars.json is under your C++ folder. In case you're switching folders, you'll have to again repeat the same thing. Got it? So that was easy for C++, isn't it? Now it's time for Java. It's very much similar. I go to open, I go to desktop, and output ready. Give an input over here. We try to run it. Command Shift plus B, and you can see.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing extremely well. Just in case you're for the first time over here, welcome to the channel. And if you don't know me, I go by the name Striver in the programming community. If you want to check me out, you can definitely check me out on LinkedIn. I'll be leaving my LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, all the social media handles in the description below. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So Take You Forward is a full-fledged interview preparation website that I run on my end. So if you're someone who has 3 months to like 6 months of time left for interviews, I will definitely ask you out to check this Strivers SD sheet. Trust me, this is one of the most followed resources in the country as of now. What does this resource gives you? It gives you 190 well versed with the basics of DS algo in order to. Now, if you're someone who's a beginner, you can definitely check out our Strivers A to Z DSA course or sheet. Now, over here, what I've done is I've curated 455 steps. Every step has been curated properly, and you will get all the problem links, everything. Imagine you open dynamic programming, you want video, you get videos for everything. So all the hard topics have been covered. You'll find videos for all the hard topics. Now we will be starting off to cover all the basic topics. So this is the video where we'll be starting to cover from the step 1.1. In case you have doubt about the credibility, you can go to our LinkedIn page and you can check out all the success stories, or you can follow me on LinkedIn and you can see how many people do tag me. And also you can check out our Instagram story highlights. So if you go to Instagram, there is a highlight as success stories. Over there, you can check out all our success stories. Like there are thousands and thousands of success stories of the Strivers SD sheet. And now we are starting off with Strivers A to Z DSA course sheet, which is for beginners or intermediate level people. So today we will be covering the step 1.1, that is things to know in C++, Java, Python, or any language. Now, in order to start off with data structures and algorithms, you have to pick up any one language. It can be C++, Java, Python, or JavaScript. And you have to code in that language. Make sure you master one language. Now, in the previous video, I've already talked about C++ versus Java, so you can definitely check out that video. So in this video, I'll be telling you about C++, and I'll be covering all these basic stuffs related to C++. And in the next video, we will be covering the Java one. आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे ना कि क्या ही लाइफ जी रहे हैं भैया. Java 1.
आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे ना कि क्या out. तो बेस्ट चीज मुझे कोडिंग निंजास के बारे में लगती है, लाइक ऑनेस्टली व्हाई डू आई प्रमोट देम, द रीजन इज उनका सर्विस. आई फील अगर आप कोई चीज को पे कर रहे हो, यू डिजर्व दैट सर्विस, एंड दैट इज वेयर कोडिंग निंजा स्टैंड आउट. लाइक उनका जो टीचिंग असिस्टेंट सर्विस है, भाई साहब मैंने बहुत लोगों से बात किया है, अगर आप एक डाउट रेज करते हो, दैट गेट्स रिजॉल्व विद इन 10 to 15 मिनट्स, एंड इससे बेटर कोई चीज नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि आप जब पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, यू नीड समवन हु resolves your doubt like within a second. And अगर आपको यकीन नहीं हो रहा, you can definitely check out their Google reviews as well as Facebook reviews. कंटेंट के बारे में आई थिंक कोई शक होनी नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि जो कंटेंट है वो बनाया गया है जो कि इंजीनियर्स है, फेसबुक, Amazon, गूगल के इंजीनियर से ही कंटेंट इन लोग बनाया है. तो कंटेंट इज टॉप नॉच, सर्विस इज टॉप नॉच. अगर आपको एक्स्ट्रा डिस्काउंट चाहिए,
as an output will be produced over here. So before starting this C++ video, I love to mention 2 points. First is, please make sure you watch the video till the end. You might be knowing C++, but there are a lot of things that I'll be covering in this video which you might know or you might like find it very interesting. So make sure you watch the video till the end. The second point is again very important. When you're learning something on for the first time, do not dig deep too much into certain things, because what happens is when we start off, we start to think that okay, every certain thing we'll learn in depth, and eventually we are stuck in the beginning process and we do not move ahead. So what I'll recommend you is first learn the basics and do not dig much. And eventually, when you'll go from beginner to intermediate to medium and then to hard, you will on this flow you will be learning everything in depth. But during your start, do not dig deep so much. Why? Do not do a lot of why. It is good to do, but there are certain things where you should not do a lot of whys, because that will be not required in the longer run. So the first thing in order to write a C++ code is the skeleton of C++ code. Now, the skeleton of C++ code stays constant across all the programs that you'll be writing in C++. Now, something like hash include. So we write hash include. Now imagine the first program that we will be writing is to print our name. So the skeleton states, okay, you have to print. You have to probably print something, which is you have to give an output. Or let's say you have to take an input. So in order to take an input or take an output, we have to use this particular library. Now, as I said, do not dig deep. You don't have to know what is inside this library. Yes, if you want to know it is okay, but you don't have to remember this. So if you use this library, this allows an output. And in order to use this library in C++, we can use the hash include. So hash include IOStream. Imagine if you want to use something like a mathematical function which exists in the C++ library, then you have to use something like a math.h. I'll be talking about mathematical functions afterwards. In case you want to use something like a string, then you want to use, you have to hash include it. You don't need to know what is the library. As I said, do not dig much deep. And then you say int main, and then you say return 0. So this is the generic skeleton of the code. I'll remove this couple of hash includes because as of now, we are just going to print. So this is the generic skeleton of a C++ code. After this, I said I'm going to print my name. So I'll be like C out. So when I write C out, it means you have to, that allows you to give an output. Okay. Now, in order to use C out, you have to write std and double colon. So cout is a function which exists under the std. Okay, so you have to say std, can you give me cout, and then two lower than signs, and then double quotes if you're printing a string, and you can say hey striver, and then you can give this. So what I'll do is I'll go and run this. The moment I run this, you see in the output screen we have hey striver. So in case you want to again print this, so go across and copy paste the same line and again run this. So what happens is hey striver is printed 2 times, but they are printed on the same line. In case you want to print them in different lines, you can go ahead and give a backslash n, and you can just, so the moment you compile this, what happens is the backslash n goes across and prints it in the new line. So very simple. Can we use something else? Yes. Instead of a backslash n, we can take std and l, and we can again compile. So if we compile, endl is similar to backslash n. Endl or backslash n takes you to the next line. But usually people use backslash n because it is faster. Okay. But you will find people using both. So it is your choice. If you want to print something on the same line, you can again print something like hey Raj. You can again print and again you can give something like Endel. So there is no limitations on the thing that you want to print on the same line. You can print as many things over here on the C out, and that will be printed according to the functions that you give. Like over here, you give an Endel, so that is why Haze Driver, Hey Raj, and Haze Driver are printed on new lines. So this is how you give. Now something must be very annoying, which is this STD. Now, for any functions, for most of the functions, you have to write std double colon double colon. This is very annoying, right? This is where something like using namespace comes in. So we say, hey, can you use the namespace std? So basically, what this means is if you're not giving anything, if you're not stating anything, it eventually says, since you have written using namespace std, again, you don't have to dig deep. The moment you say this, the program always uses STD for all the functions. Yes, always uses STD for all the functions. Now, if you compile, it prints everything. Now it looks a easier task, isn't it? So this is how you can easily write. Okay, now let's quickly have an input. Imagine you want to take an input. So imagine I want to take an integer as an input, int x. So this is how you take an input. It's a scene of x. Scene means input into this variable. Input into this variable. Now imagine in the input, I go across and I say 10. And I'll be like, let's print this x guy. So I'll be like, value of x. And then I can go ahead and write x. So if I go and print this, you will see value of x is printed as 10. What happened? You printed this particular string and then you said space and then you printed x. So this x was taken from here. Got it? Now imagine if you want to take two variables as input. So if you want to take two variables as input, you can give it like this. And over here, you can give them in the same line the value of x, and then you can go ahead and say and y, and you can probably write this as back this one and this. So what happens is value of x and y. Now, do you need to give them in the same line? You can give them in different lines as well, and it will still run in the similar fashion. So this is how you can take any inputs. So what happens is the first thing gets into the first scene, the next thing gets into the next scene. So depending on how you are writing scene, line by line, everything gets into variables that you're initializing it with. Now you might be thinking, what is this int? Now there are certain things as data types, which I'll be talking about. But before moving into data types, now as I said, there are a bunch of libraries. Imagine you're taking string, integer, let's say a lot of other data types, or a lot of other libraries. Will you be writing hash include, hash include, hash include, hash include every time? No, it's going to take you a lot of time. This is where C++ says, hey, I've got something better for you. I say, can I write bits std c++ dot h? Now what it does is, it includes all the libraries, everything. Whatever libraries are there in C++, everything is included under this bits slash std c++.h. Now you might think, but Striver, in order to include so many libraries, we will be taking a lot of time. Yes, we do take a lot of time, but that is very negligible compared to the time that your program takes to run. So that is why it is okay to include bits slash stdc++.h. Yeah, it takes a bit more time, but that is okay. Again, if you want to check out what are the libraries inside this, you can definitely Google this and you'll get all the list of libraries that are inside this particular directory. So this is what is the common skeleton of the code that we will be using to write any C++ program on the planet. So you have discussed the first thing, that is the skeleton of the code and the user input and output to a certain extent. We will be digging deep into this as we move forward. What is the next type? That is the data types. Now, we're talking about input and output. Now, if you're taking a number in, you have to store it somewhere in your program. That is the place where you store, that can be a data type. Okay. Now imagine you're taking a number like 10, 12, minus 5. What will you use to store it? So there is a data type known as int, integer.
दुनिया जानदे नी मरदा नी दिन दुनिया जानदे.
Sure. Now, this is how you can write comments in C++. If you give double backslash, you can write any comment. So integer, what does comment means? Those lines of code will not be executed. So this line will not be executed when the program is executed. So int is the data type. In order to assign anything to integer data type, you have to write the data type and then a variable name. Variable name can be anything. It can be Raj, it can be X, it cannot be a number. It cannot be a number. Okay. So it can be Raj1. That is okay. But it has to be something which has a character. So something like, let's say, I say X equal to 10. So this is how you assign something into an integer data type. But integer has certain restrictions. It can only store numbers from this range to this range. Beyond this, it cannot store. Beyond this, what will help you? Something like a long data type will help you. If you try to use long, it has a wider range. Same concept, you can store variables in long. If you want to take an input, this is how you take an input. If you write scene of x, variables in same concept, you can use the same concept to store variables in long. If you want to take an input, this is how you take an input. If you write scene of x, the first number 10 will go into x. Okay. Now, what if you want to store bigger numbers than this? This is where something like long will come in. So if you're saying long, it will give you a wider range. Again, the same way you can store it like this, or maybe you can go ahead and store a very large number as well. So usually we will be using these three things to store any type of integers between a certain ranges. Okay. Now, what are the next data types that we will be using? We were talking about integers. What if we have something like, let's say, 5.6, something like this? So it is having something after the decimal point. This is where something like we will be specifically using two data types, float and double. Again, they have ranges. Depending on the range that you use, you'll be We're using float or double. The ranges are visible on the screen. So we can use something like float. Again, same way. Float x equal to 5.6. Again, you can always store float y equal to 5 as well. It doesn't mean that, like, if I'm saying that it has to store decimal, it doesn't mean you can't store an integer. Now, if you go and say c out of y, like value of y, and then you say, okay, let's print this y. Let's see what it prints, okay? So if you see the value of, okay, it does give you an error. Okay, by the way, let's erase this because we have defined x twice. Okay, let's now compile this. You see, it is getting printed. Similarly, if you want to define this as double, it's still okay. If we define this double, an integer can also be stored in a double. Okay. So in data types, you have learned how to store numbers and numbers with decimal points. Now, what if you have a string or a character? How do you store that? So for that, what we will be using is something like a string and get line. So you have to learn these couple of things. Okay. Now, imagine I write hey string. So this is an entire string. And the same way, I'll say string S, and I'll say cn of S, and I'll say c out of S. Okay. Ideally, what should happen is this entire haste driver should go inside this string, and this should be printed. But let's see what will happen. If I run this, you will see just hey being picked up. And if you want to pick up striver, what you have to do is you have to define two strings. If you want to define two strings in a same line, comma will be the thing, or you can go ahead and say string s2, and over here s1, and then you can say s2, and over here s1, and then you can give a space and then s2. So what will happen? Now if you do, first s1 is picked up as hey, then s2 is picked up as striver, then both of them are printed with a space, right? So like an H. So you can just go ahead and declare char ch, and you can take cn of ch, okay, and then you can say c out of ch. So what will happen is this h will go inside, it will be printed over here. If you want to declare a character, you can declare this as G. So single quotes is what will be used to declare a character. You can also declare it as string, but usually string will be within double quotes. That is also okay. But string ends up taking much more space. That is why if it's a single character, we tend to use something like a char. So, okay, do we have, okay, so these are the data types that I have used till now to solve all the problems in DS algo. Did I like a chain of CH? Okay. And then you can say C out of CH. So what will happen is this H will go inside this and it will be printed over here. If you want to declare a character, you can go ahead and declare this as G. So single quotes is what will be used to declare a character. Printed of ch. So what will happen is this h will go inside this and it will be printed over here. If you want to declare a character, you can go ahead and declare this as G. So single quotes is what will be used to declare a character. You can also declare it as string, but usually string will be within double quotes. That is also okay. But string ends up taking much more space. That is why if it's a single character, we tend to use something like a char. So, okay, do we have, okay, so these are the data types that I have used till now to solve all the problems in DS algo. Did I require anything else? No. In case I've required for a single problem, like one problem here or there, I have done a Google search and I've used that. But I can assure you that if you know this, it's more than enough. Now you must be having a lot of questions. Striver, if we have something like a 10, and that 10 can be stored in all the three or all the five, why can't we use simply long, or maybe double? Now the thing is, everyone will be like you can't use long to store 10. Not make sense because it will end up eating up a lot more memory space. So integer takes a certain memory, long does take a certain. certain memory. So everything take a certain memory. So depending on that, we decide what to use. Now, integer has a range. Now, those numbers you can't remember. So what I usually do is I keep a rounding of number. Like I know integer will be from minus 10 to the power 9 to 10 to the power 9, like rounding off. Long will be minus 10 to the power 12 to 10 to the power 12. Long will be minus 10 to the power 18 to 10 to the power 18. So whenever there is something as 10 to the power 13, I switch to long. You don't have to remember exact numbers because you will not remember that much when you go on the longer run. Okay, so that is how I usually do it, and you can also follow the same process. So we have completed data types. Now, the data types that I've covered, that are more than enough. Again, very crucial point. Do not dig deep, because eventually when you keep on coding, you'll learn everything. Till now, we know the skeleton of the code. We know the data types. Now let's write some program. So the first program is write a program that takes an input of age and prints if you are an adult or not. So the skeleton is something which I've written, and this is the program. So let's break down the problem. It states write a program. Maybe I've written the skeleton that takes an input of age. Now you know one thing. Age will be what? An integer, 18 or maybe double. Imagine the age we are talking in terms of integer. And we know you're called an adult when you're greater than 18, correct? So imagine I enter something like 19. In that case, you have to print adult. Imagine I enter something like 17. You have to say not an adult. If I print 18, adult, right? If I print 10, not an adult. So I need an age. So maybe I can go ahead and say, okay, int age. So you need the age from the user. So cn, hey, give me the age. So maybe if I give the age over here or something like this will be picked up into this age. Now, this is where something like if else statement comes in. What is it saying? Print if you're adult or not. Can I say if you are greater than equal to 18, then I can say you are an adult. You are an adult, yes. Or if you are lesser than 18, you are not an adult. Can I say this? So this is something which you are speaking in very layman terms. If you want to convert this into programming language, this is where something like if else comes in. There is something as if, this is the block, and there is something like else. This is the block. So inside this, you perform stating, okay, if something happens, perform these lines of code. If that thing doesn't happen, go and perform these lines of code. Okay. So I'm saying if the age is greater than equal to 18, then go and perform this. And if it is not, go and perform this else. Very simple. And if I'm saying if the age is greater than 18, what am I doing? I'm saying print you are an adult. So the print line is very simple. You are an adult. Simple. Like you can just capitalize this. And if you are not, then go ahead and print this. You are not an adult. So basically, first line says 20 will go on to age. Then it will say 20 greater than equal to 18. Yes. We'll go inside this and print this. Let's run this and see what happens. So I'm taking 20. Yes, you are an adult. If I take 15, what will happen? It will say you are not an adult. Simple. Now, this is the basic if else statement. Now you can modify this as well. For an example, you are saying 18 yes, 18 no. I can also write this as this. This is okay. This is saying age is greater than equal to 18. If not, go to the else, but only get into the else if the condition satisfied. Over here, it will, but eventually you will learn. Is it mandatory to write an else statement always? You can omit the else statement as well. So if you omit the else statement, what will happen is the 15 will be taken as the input and the if will not be executed and it will not find an else. So nothing will happen. So have an else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. So you can omit the else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. So you can omit the else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. So you can omit the else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. So you can omit the else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. So you can omit the else statement. If you're having a if, it is not mandatory to write an else statement. goes to the else, but else says, wait, before going into me, you have to pass my condition. And my condition states, are you lesser than 18? Then it says, yes, I'm lesser than 18, so I will go. If this was lesser than 10, see what will happen. You're giving 15, I'm taking 15, false, goes to else, and else condition says lesser than 10. When I run, it doesn't runs. Why? False. Again false. No execution. But the moment you give something as 9, see what will happen. The moment you give it 9, it prints Y. Goes here, false. Goes to the else, and he says 9 lesser than 10. Yes. Goes ahead and prints this. This is how something like a if and an else if block works. Got it? So let's now move on to a complex problem so that you can.
संजू सैमसन, अभिषेक शर्मा, कोशिश होता बाहरी किनारा मार्को जैनसन के हाथ से वो कैच छूट गया। शॉट अच्छा है, आ गया शतक पे, एक और शतक, तीसरा सबसे पहले बैटर बन गए एक साल में 3 टी20 आई शतक लगाने वाले। कैप्टन आज 2 ओवर में उसके बाद 4 टी20 का गैप और फिर एक और शतक। एक और स्ट्राइक पे शॉट लगाया, 2 और यहाँ पे 2 मिलना चाहिए और लगता है कि मिल गया दूसरा शॉट, दूसरा रन पूरा कर लिया और बैक टू बैक दूसरा शतक, लगातार दूसरा पहले संजू सैमसन टी20 आएगा और उसके बाद एक और उभरता हुआ सितारा जिसने कई कारनामा आज हासिल किया है। आपको मौका भी है, दस्तूर भी है और अदा भी है और ये भी क्लियर हिट है, ये भी देगा छक्का। तो पानी छोड़ने का और चौका आएगा कि नहीं, आ गया या चौका मिल गया इसी बीच। इस बार संजू सैमसन एक और छक्का, ये भी अच्छा शॉट लगाया है, 1 रन और 20 के बाद 283 पर एक भारत। ये है एक साउथ अफ्रीका 1-1। कप्तान एडन मॉक्रो पारी के नाम होता है। हार्दिक पांड्या को मिल गई उनकी पहली विकेट, भारत के लिए दूसरी विकेट। दूसरा विकेट बाहर निकल के नहीं। ये अच्छा कनेक्शन है। और जैसे ही हवा में इस तरह से पानी जरूर आएगा नीचे आसानी से। रवि बिश्नोई ने कैच को बोल दिया। एक समय तो लग रहा था कि हाथ से बॉल निकल जाएगी, तो दूसरे अटेम्प्ट में वो कैच पूरा हो गया। कप्तान मार्कर तो बाय बाय कर दिया उस टीम ने। 10-3 मार्कर मार्च एंड्रिक क्लासन अच्छी गेंद हमारा फील्ड आउट। एलबीडब्ल्यू उड़ने उड़ गए जबरदस्त रेफरी है। पिचिंग इन लाइन, इम्पैक्ट इन लाइन, विकेट हिटिंग एक और विकेट शून्य। एंड्रिक क्लासन 10 पे 4। हैट्रिक की तलाश हरदीप सिंह को स्ट्राइक पे मिला। अंदर आती हुई गेंद अक्सर स्विंग इज किंग कहते हैं, स्विंग इज किंग। ये भी लीडिंग एज है। बाबू की जमीन पूरी तरह कर सकते हैं आप उस सर्कल के बाहर मिल जाएगा 4। ये खासियत है डिस्टेंस स्टॉप्स की। तो रेस लगाएंगे वापस सूर्य कुमार यादव पहुंच नहीं पाएंगे। रन आ गया ये बहुत ही शानदार शॉट है। एक और छक्का यहाँ पर, दूसरा छक्का इस ओवर का। ये ओवर गेंदबाजी थी, यहाँ पे बल्ला घुमाया, स्विंग अच्छा था, सही इम्पैक्ट। ये विकेट है ये डेविड मिलर। एक और छक्का है ये भी अच्छा शॉट है सीधा। फिर से रही है, फिर से नहीं स्विंग। अब फिर से ये शॉट खेला है, बड़ा आउट है रवि बिश्नोई। इस मैच का उनके लिए दूसरा कैच। इधर फर्मा ने माफ कीजिएगा ये कैच जो पकड़ा है। मिलर ने बने 36 फर्मा ने 96 पे 5। बड़ी अपील है क्या ये अर्शद के सामने है कि माने तो हाँ। एक रिव्यू बचा है वैसे दक्षिण अफ्रीका के लिए और लिया pitching on side off, impact in line, wicket half past goal. That is the out यहाँ पे pitching. लीजिए जिसका प्रयास पहले किया था उन्होंने इस बार सफल हुए। शॉट लीजिए सीधे हवा में सीधे कैच। वरुण चक्रवर्ती लास्ट मोमेंट अपनी लेंथ को बदला और बदल दिया स्कोर को 6 से 7 पे दिला दे आउट। लॉन्च किया है स्टैंड्स की तरफ। इस बार भी वही प्रयास किया लेकिन भाग्य ने साथ दिया। दिशा खूबसूरती से दिखाई है एक और छक्का। लगभग 2 छक्का है ये। पहला ओवर अक्षर पटेल का, तीसरी गेंद और विकेट मिल जाएगा। मुझे ऐसा दिख रहा है भारत का जो भी फैसला लगाया है वो सब काम आया है। बनाए 12 रन। ये हवा में है पर ऊंचाई है सिर्फ, डिस्टेंस उतना है नहीं। वो कैच हो गया ये, वो भी बिश्नोई के हाथ से बॉल निकल गई। और ये गेंद गई गैप में, मिल गया चौका। अक्षर पटेल, ये मौका बन सकता है, हवा में तो गई है गेंद और ये कैच पकड़ लिया तिलक वर्मा ने। इसके पहले भी कैच पकड़ा था लॉन्ग ऑन पे और यहाँ पर बाउंड्री राइडर के रूप में ये दूसरा कैच। शतक उसके साथ साथ बेहतरीन कैचिंग एफर्ट तिलक वर्मा का। केशव महाराज आउट हुए 6 रन बना के। अब सतामला आए बल्लेबाजी करने के लिए 141 पे 9। केशव अच्छा है, मामूल हसन के बीच का फायदा उठाया 146 पे 9। हो सकता है आगे यहाँ पे पहला विकेट। हाँ, अंतरराष्ट्रीय क्रिकेट करियर का T20 आई का रणजी का पहला विकेट मिल गया वापस आ रहे सितंबर को। दक्षिण अफ्रीका की टीम को बंडल आउट कर दिया भारत ने सिर्फ 148 के स्कोर पर। एक और रिकॉर्ड 2024 में एक भी शतला T20 आईज में भारत हारा नहीं है। One to submit representative for Sakira Patel, who's going to take the trophy over to the champions. विज्ञान का सीरीज 3-1 की जीत। गौतम गंभीर जरूर नहीं आए थे दौरे पे, लेकिन वीवीएस लक्ष्मण और उनका सपोर्ट स्टाफ जो था वो मौजूद था और कुछ प्लान्स जो 2026 के विश्व कप को नजर में रखते हुए बनाए गए हैं उनमें 3 अहम टिक लगाए हैं, 3 अहम विक्ट्रीज के साथ जो कि दर्ज की है गौतम ने, सेंचुरियन ने और आज जोहानिसबर्ग में। Highlights of team back to every Indian.
And understand the conditional statements in depth. So this is how you can write the multi-line comments. Since I had an entire problem statement, I put them under multi-line comment. So backslash asterisk is how you can do it. For single line, it is very simple, doubles backslash, but front slash or backslash, whatever you call it. So this is how you can write the multi-line comment. So the problem is very simple. A school has following rules for grading system. Below 25 grade F, 25 to 44 grade E, 45 to 49 grade D, and so on. So your task is to ask user to enter marks and print the corresponding grade. Okay. So what is the first? stating. Very important. Below, can I write and should be till 44? So can I say
Caps lock. क्या है क्या है क्या है भाई क्या है भाई क्या है बे क्या है बे क्या है बे आवाज नहीं है क्या आवाज नहीं है क्या आवाज नहीं है क्या आवाज नहीं है क्या आवाज नहीं है क्या
should be greater than 25. And if you have multiple conditions, if you want to satisfy multiple conditions, you say and marks lesser than equal to 44. This is how you satisfy multiple first condition and second condition. And then you say C out E. Similarly, you can go ahead and write all the if conditions. So what I've done is I've written all the conditions. You see, all the conditions are written. Let's say the marks is 85 and see which condition is getting executed. So if you take the marks as 85, this is executed. If you take something like 24, let's see what is executed. You see, everything is running fine. But is this the correct way to write? No. Why? What happens is the marks is going and checking this. Imagine the marks is something like 86. This if is false. Again goes and checks this. False. Again goes and checks this. False. Again goes and checks it. False. Again goes and checks this. False. Again goes and checks this. False. So at the end, this is executed and A is printed over here. Okay. Now imagine if I give 24. What will happen? F will be printed, right? So this is executed. True, prints F. But then goes ahead. This is executed false. This is executed false. Executed false. Executed false. Executed false. Only this was true. But all the ifs got executed. Hence, you ended up taking a lot of time. This is where, yes, this is where something like an else if comes in. So if you write else if, see what happens. Else if, you can write else if, you can write else if, you can write else if. So if you write else if, what will happen is, if 24 is true over here, none of these lines will be executed because it states else. It will never go there and it will not be executed. So you'll be saving a lot of time. Previously, in every if was executed. So this is why else if will be written. Now, another thing, you're having 24. Imagine if you have something like, let's say 30. So you're saying if not lesser than 25. So this is false. This is definitely false. Do you need to check again for greater than equal to 25? Because you are sure that it is not lesser than 25. You are sure because this is false. You are sure. So it will definitely go here. So you don't need to write this anymore. You don't need to write this anymore. Because if it is lesser than 25, and if it is lesser than equal to 44, that means it is between 25 to 44. It means that, and if this is also false, it means it is not lesser than equal to 44. So you can also omit this. See, you can also omit this. Same way.
हाँ
Because 49 is checked, 59 is checked, so you can omit checking greater than 60, and eventually you can do this. So you saw how easily I trimmed it down. This is how you will be trimming it down. So if I now deal, you see 30 is printing E. If you give something like 48, that will be printing D. So every line is executed properly because if all these are false, which means the number is never lesser than 49. And if it is true, it means 50 to 59. Super simple. Got it? This is how you trim down multiple conditional statements and multiple if statements. So, this is the last question for conditional statements. And over here, we will be learning something about nested if else. So, the problem is pretty simple. Take the age from the user and then decide accordingly. So if the age is smaller than 18, you can print this, and all the conditions are given to you. So something we know for sure is we need age, right? So we can take the scene of age. Now we know something. If age is smaller than 18, then we gotta print something like not eligible for job, right? This is what we will be printing, correct? Then it states else if the age is greater than equal to 18, you will be printing eligible for job. If it is greater than equal to 18, you'll be printing eligible for job. Okay. But if it is somewhere between this, which means anywhere between this, it's eligible for job. But anywhere between 55 and 57, eligible for the job, but retirement soon. That is what you have to print. Got it? So what I will go ahead and do is I'll say, okay, else if age is greater than 18 and age is lesser than equal to 54. And you can say see out eligible for the job. So I'll just copy paste this and print. Perfect. Again, do you need to write greater than 18? No, because if this is false, it is definitely greater than equal to 18. So just remove. Simple.